I'm Mike Manella from the Nerds of Color. How's it going?
Good. I like the name.
Thank you very much. I like the name too. Shout out to all the Filipinos out there. Thank you for putting us on the map, sir. Yeah, yeah. I mean, we got a two-time Academy Award nominated Filipino cinematographer in the house, and that to me, that to us is exceptionally special and rare in this industry too. So thanks for that. Thanks for your great
Well,
work.
thank you. Thanks for appreciating it.
Of course. I'd love to talk about this movie. Honestly speaking, I think Don't Worry, Darling, between Booksmart and Don't Worry, Darling, Olivia Wilde is really establishing herself as one of the best visual filmmakers of our, of current times, honestly. And a huge part of that is your work here in Don't Worry, Darling, which is phenomenal, by the way. And I gotta give a shout out to your amazing visual work. Can you get into the process of how you teamed up with Olivia to capture this really 50s Stepford aesthetic, but also kind of blend in a little bit of dystopian futurism into all of this as well, just in your shots?
Well, I think it all stems from her vision of wanting to create like an old school psychological thriller. It's sort of set, obviously it's set in an idyllic world that was seemingly 1950s, mid-century modern, and then you look at the contrast of, we're so used to seeing mid-century modern really in present day, but then you look at the juxtaposition, or maybe not the juxtaposition, and then the shot that's behind you right now, you see the 50s cars in the setting of this mid-century modern aesthetic. And, she wanted to take this world, but yet turn it a little bit and create the psychological thriller that had this idyllic Truman Show like environment, but then add in sort of this rat pack vibe of debauchery and sex and drinking and smoking. And she I think she really succeeded in that. And for me as a cinematographer, it's like, how do we layer all the ideas that she had to sort of tell this story, and within this narrative and this setting, create this idea that this woman was descending into madness, or seemingly descending into madness, only to subsequently create this reveal that this world is actually not the world that we're living in. And we just poured over references. Slim Aaron's photographs, all her photographs of these sort of these people who are living their best lives, and then the Alex Prager photographs where you always have a heroine involved in the frame, but immaculately dressed, and the color is so specific. I mean, those are all things that she wanted to layer into the film. And there's little things, little through lines that start at the beginning and end at the end, everything following the same orchestration, whether it be the shape of the circle that you see when they're doing donuts in the desert, to the coffee cup in the third act, where it's just coffee pouring in over and over and over again, and seemingly a bottomless mug of coffee. All those things she wanted to, down to the cul-de-sac shot, which is also a circle descending down into and propelling Alice into her escape in the third act for the end of the movie. I think all those, Olivia just had this vision of layering all these visual themes. So as a cinematographer, you're along for the ride, but you're trying to contribute in a way that, at least for me, I was aiming to do something kind of, this perfect world. How do we use the camera and lens and light to create just a little element of imperfection, and imperfection also, subjectivity with this main character. So, it was just a lot of discussion and just staying in tune together about what we were trying to achieve.
Excellent. It really, you pull it off so beautifully. And one of the things that I thought was really interesting and effective, especially in the film, is peppered throughout these shots of perfection. And we know that it's imperfect, as you guys set up, but you've also got these nightmarish, surreal visions going on of these dancers and these imagery that just stays with you. And I wanted to know, certainly when I was watching, your work on Black Swan really came to mind. Did you kind of pull from influences like your work in Black Swan or any other dystopian, nightmarish films or genres or anything like that to kind of capture those weird, surreal moments?
I mean, I think if you maybe subconsciously you're pulling from something you've done in the past, but you know, I tried to, in every movie, actually try to treat them as a new thing. So, but of course, your past experience is going to influence you. But this was a subjectivity on another level, or a different level, let's say, than that film was. And this one had to do as much with the periphery in vision of the camera as it did in the center of frame. So, you know, it was the juxtaposition of this character descending into madness within the idyllic world that I think is the through line, and the, you know, is the pulse of what the visual language of the movie is. So the setting is a character is definitely something we had to frame, you know.
Speaking of that setting, you guys did a lot of really amazing work in Palm Springs, and certainly some of the beauty of that movie is the natural beauty of Palm Springs itself. But I can also understand if the location itself and the climate conditions, maybe the sun, the brightness, could potentially make it difficult to capture that, which is why you rein it in very well. Was that difficult for you working in those kinds of conditions to kind of capture the perfect shot in these moments?
Well, the difficulty really is the amount of work and time, which is always the case. And this is, you know, on one hand, we were fortunate to shoot in Palm Springs at a time where the sun was low in November, December, and but it was also the shortest days of the year, so we were lacking in time. And so yeah, there's times when in the movie I look at it and it could have been shot at a different time, but we just didn't have that time to shoot it in, you know. So the challenge was really a race against time, but we had the benefit of really beautiful light at the beginning and end of the day, and we just tried to maximize it as efficiently as possible. You know, exteriors are a different skill set for a cinematographer in terms of you really have to think through coverage schemes, and with a director, and sort of as much as the director has articulated to you what the vision is, you need to articulate to the director, this is how we have to go about it for the light, you know. And that sort of, given that relationship is most fruitful when there's trust involved.
Wonderful. Matthew, this was amazing. I can't wait for people to see your amazing work in Don't Worry, Darling when it comes out in theaters. And overall, just thank you for everything that you're doing to put Filipinos on the map in this industry, sir. So really appreciate it.
Good luck to you.
One.
Thank you. It's nice to meet you, Mike.
Fanboys, professional artists, and professors. Maybe a nerd who's just like you, talking about the things that you like too. So I invite you to the NOC. In full color, you see me. The hard knock life, comics, movies, and TV. Yeah, pop culture with a different perspective. Watch it on your screen, hit play, so check.